Hey guys, Brent Abernathy. Welcome to the Family First Life Gulf Coast team training call on Monday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day and got your dial day started up right. I have got a special guest with us today. I'm excited about this call. I've got one of my good buddies I've been in business with for 8 years now, Frank Eufemia, who is the head of Family First Life National. Also now an integrity partner, has always been a Hall of Fame producer. He's just got a lot to offer in a number of different areas in our business. And dude, I appreciate you. First of all, appreciate what you've done over the last 8 years. Obviously, we've been kind of in this thing together, and just looking back on where everybody has come from and where we've gotten the company to now. It's been fun. And it's fun to continue growing. It's fun to see each agency and each manager and each producer. It's fun to see the growth that happens, over time. And dude, I've seen that with you in your business. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is your business is growing like crazy. I know you've made changes in your business recently and had a lot of success. So just appreciate you. And I kind of want to let you rip whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind right now. And then, maybe we can get in some sales stuff towards the end, but anything you got to share with the men and women that can help them in this business, man, I would appreciate it.
Well, man, thanks for having me, bro. That introduction, it's crazy. I think you remember when we first got in the business and how we looked at people that made it.
Yep.
Kind of probably like how when you played ball, a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old would walk up to you and look at you at a game.
Yep.
Like they were enamored with you and what you've done. Now, the difference in baseball and what we do is very few can hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Even less can hit an 88-mile-an-hour curveball, right? Anybody that truly wants to can be a Hall of Fame producer, period, end of story. The challenge is right here, right? That's what everybody battles on a daily basis. So, I mean, the growth that we've seen in the last 8 years here is sometimes to me is almost, I don't want to say unbelievable because I witnessed it and I saw it and I watched Sean set the goals and watched some people go no way and some people go yes and some people just run like their hair was on fire. But it's still shocking to me that the small, closed-minded folks that we were leaving and starting this company to where we are now, it's mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. I mean, mind-boggling because dude, we would have never thought $1 million a month was even possible. Mm-mm. Where we came from. And most of these IMOs, in fact, all of these IMOs out there, they don't even think they can do $1 million a month. Right. And I'm going like, if we don't do $1 million a month as a new agent coming on now inside of a year, 2 years, you're not working, right? It's almost the new norm. It's kind of like when we changed it to, the weekly submit goals, what they were, right? From 5 families to 10 families, however y'all want to say it. People were like, no way, that's not possible.
Hey, listen, I was one of them too. I was like 10 families a week. There ain't no way. You know what the heck's going on, right? I fought it like crazy.
That's funny. And so I think here's what's funny. I think a lot of people do that and very, very few admit it. It's awesome that you did. Unfortunately, I didn't because I'm that guy that I've watched Sean so many times say something and it happened. And so I just stopped doubting that, like everything, because he says it enough. And then it could be like the sky's red and he'll sell it so hard and convince himself so much that he'll tell you it's red and you will believe it. And then eventually the sky might just turn red. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. But Jamie was that way too, I think a little bit. In fact, like 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago, when the Facebook leads became rampant and I had a new group of guys. It was perfect timing. They started in like December And all they said was, I'm doing nothing but final expense leads. And I'm like, perfect. So I started doing a Road to Hall of Fame call with these guys once a week. She's like, nobody's going to hit Hall of Fame just final expense. I said, see, that's the problem with a lot of agencies and a lot of people is you don't believe. You have to see it to believe it. I believe it to see it. And that's it. That's something that I don't know. Anybody can do it. I think it's a little bit of that inner child immaturity, if you want. I don't care what you want to call it. Like, because it sounds nuts. A lot of the stuff sounds really crazy. But like, we ain't hurting nobody if we go, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. What are we doing wrong? Right? It's like Zig Ziglar said, if you believe in God your entire life and lived a good, follow the Bible, try not to sin, and you died and there was no God, who would have you hurt? Like, what would you have done wrong? I'm going like, that makes a lot of sense. Where the alternative could be really bad, right?
Right.
So, man, it's been a journey, I think, and we're ecstatic about the growth and ecstatic about the opportunity, ecstatic about integrity, but it's a grind. You know,
Yeah.
I wrote a list, 10 things that changed my business life.
Mm-hmm.
They're on my phone. Let me see if I can remember.
I was going to put you on the spot anyway. I was going to ask you if you knew them off the top of your head.
Yeah, I think I do. So the first one is time's moving fast. You have to move fast or you're going to get left behind. And like what I mean by that is, like you said, I fought it. I fought this. I fought that. I was the same way with social media, electronic applications, automation. Like I didn't like any of that stuff. Right. Why? Because I didn't really deal with a computer. Like I was used to talking on the phone and used to handwriting apps and used to not taking selfies and being on video. So I didn't want to change it. Well, then people blew past me because I was so stubborn and my ego was too big. So that's a huge lesson, and I had to change. And now we're playing catch up. You're in the same boat with the social media stuff. I mean, we're all trying to get as good as Andrew. He started from the get-go, right? Hired a social media guy that knew what he was doing right out the gate, and he took off. So you got to change. You got to change fast, because if you don't, this business will leave you behind. Not that you're going to fail and fail out or lose, but you're going to lose out on growth that you could potentially have. And it's going to take you a lot longer. If I'm driving to California from Baltimore and I'm going 200 miles an hour, I'm going to get there a hell of a lot faster if you're driving doing 2 miles an hour. It's just a fact, right? So we're just trying to get to where we get to and help as many people as fast as possible. Number 2, nobody has to give you permission to be successful. This one, Brent, the more I talk to people and agents, then I watch somewhat, like I like to call it self-sabotage. Yeah. When they start having some success and then they just disappear, or, they almost go like, this is too good to be true. I know it's going to go bad. And they talk to themselves in a way that it's going to go bad because you're telling yourself it's going to go bad, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm afraid this is going to, what you speak about becomes about. So like, I think it's a huge deal, and it's no rhyme or reason. Maybe where you grew up, maybe what you look like, maybe who your friends are, but that's something that I wish we could just immediately erase out of people's minds. Is you deserve as much as I deserve, and so does Tom, and so does Mary, and everybody else out there. They all deserve it. We're here, right? Number 3. The journey to success will not be without struggle. So this is, and again, you've gone through so much stuff. I respect the fact that, everybody always says, I wish I could be here. I would have been here from day one. And I go, I don't know if you really wish that. like now it's really good. Yeah. But back then, I mean, we had the lawsuit. We had one carrier. We almost had no carriers. We didn't have leads, no CRM. I mean, it wasn't peaches and cream, right? But you look back on it now, like those are some of the best times. It was. I mean, we were starving, dude. Every single day we were starving, trying to get out, and we're just hustling like crazy, like hair on fire, right? That's right. So we should just learn to enjoy that stuff, because it's part of the process, and it builds you to who you are. Like the microwave society. And everybody that's building a team knows about agents that feel entitled. Like, hey, give me some agents. Like, I'm sorry, I love you, but that doesn't really work. If I planted a $2 million group under somebody, they're going to dismantle that thing because they didn't build it. They don't know the people. They don't know the culture. They don't know how to talk to them. And first of all, they didn't earn it. So you know how that goes. When you give people stuff, it's just not as appreciated.
Yep.
All right, what number was that? 3?
That was 3.
Great. Number 4, people will let you down if and only if you let them. So my expectations were crazy in the beginning. I expected people to think the way I thought, to act the way I acted, to want to work as hard as I wanted to work. And the harsh reality of it is they didn't. And I was mad because I didn't think that was right. Now, you can live that way and be very short-sighted, and your team will probably not like you much, and because you'll talk down to them and I used to make fun of them because I always thought that would help. And like you're a ball guy, like you play ball.
Athletes,
what do you do in the locker room when somebody's like you make fun of them, and then they get mad enough to change it, right? But that's not the life. I mean, that's not real world. It's somewhat immature, but it's fun to an extent. But we're not in a locker room. We're in business. So I would get so aggravated. I didn't want to hire for a while. I just was like, I'm going to sell. I can do Hall of Fame every year. I can probably do double Hall of Fame if I didn't have to deal with all this other BS. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'm like, Jamie's like, well, we're not helping anybody if you do that. And are you going to sell forever? I'm like, you're right. So I changed my mindset. I changed who I spoke to, and I changed who I gave time to, because it's too much energy exhausted when people are energy takers. You ever read The Energy Bus?
That's one of my favorite ones, dude.
Dude, that book changed. I read it a while ago, but I read it again in 2000. I want to say 15 or 16, and my perspective was way different. So, yeah, people let you down if you let them. So don't let them. Just ask for clear guides on what they want, and then just follow it. If they don't want to be pushed, don't push them. If they don't want to make money or to be Hall of Fame, okay, it's your life. It's not mine, right? Mm-hmm. That's easier. Oh, no. The journey. Oh, God, I just went over that. Journey's man, you're going to make me pull these up. Oh, got it. The grind is actually kind of fun. Get used to it. That's, to me, is like the process or the small things that we do is really what makes you successful in this business. And it's what people like the least. Yep. Like the glamour is this, right? And talking to agents through a sale, and then them doing it, and then them calling you after the sale, and then being all fired up. And like, that's the fun stuff. Or actually setting appointment and running an appointment and helping a fan. Like, that's fun. But the dials and the lead, like, none of that's, but that's the grind. And successful people do that a lot. Like, they do the things nobody wants to do a lot. That's why they're successful.
Dude, it's so funny you say that because, the other night, and you know me, I'm a sports fan, just a sports junkie. I got that background, right? And I know you are too. So Tiger Woods gets inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame a week or so ago, right? And I'm listening to him give his Hall of Fame induction speech, because that's the way I do, Frank, is I just, I love listening and getting into the minds of, did you take your video off? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm putting it right back.
Okay. Okay. I was
crazy.
All right. So I love getting in the minds of what's going on in like the top athletes' heads, right? I always do that. And so Tiger's giving his induction speech, and he's talking about how his dad, who is a former Green Beret, instilled in him at an early age this terminology of train hard, fight easy, right? And he went into what that meant. And what his dad taught him early on was, hey, if you train hard, if you do all the stuff that people aren't willing to do, other people aren't willing to do, if you get after you work your tail off, well, then the game, the fight, that's going to be easy, right?
Right.
And it's the same thing. What you're talking about, it's like the glamour part. I mean, let's face it, Tiger Woods was probably the most recognizable face, on planet Earth, when he was in his heyday, right? And,
no doubt.
And that's the glamour. And he's got all the money, he's got all this, he's got all that, right? But it's like, what went on behind the scenes? How much was he getting after it compared to the people that were just so-called average at golf, right? Yep. And that's the difference maker right there. So I didn't mean to cut you off. It was just it hit home.
No, you're good. Did you watch that special that they did on Kobe when Dwayne Wade was talking about the Lakers were in Miami for a game? The Lakers lost. The game was over. They must have went out. Dwayne Wade and a bunch of the guys on the Heat went out. They came back to the arena after the game, and one of the guys said, "You got to come see this." It was like 2:30 in the morning. Kobe was on the court with a trainer shooting threes, letting a guy hit him in the arm. And they said, what was he doing? He said they lost the game because he missed a couple threes he should have made because of the contact. And that wasn't ever going to happen again. Like, dude, that, and Kobe was the best of the best, right?
Right.
But that's what separates winners from just people that are average, or maybe they win sometimes, maybe they don't win. Like they're legit. Yeah. And that's amazing to me, but that's the grind. And you got to fall in love with the process. You got to fall in love with the grind. If you do that, it's easy. You'll get up out of bed early. You'll stay up late. You won't complain when it's time to make phone calls, all that stuff. All right. So that was how many? 4?
It's 4 or 5. I think it might have been 5.
We'll go. So there's the fear of losing money will prevent you from making money. Yep. This one, I didn't really have to change, but I know it's big and a lot of people have to. I actually had to kind of finagle Jamie a little bit because she was more of a conservative type. I'm a gambler. I don't really care. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's just money. But that thing where folks make it a little bit of it and they want to hold on to it so tight, it's like you can't build a business that way. And that's usually because of, again, how you're raised, what you're told. You can't save your way to success if you want to build a business. The only way you can save your way to something is if you have a job and you're putting money in a retirement plan and you're going to retire at 65 or 70. You can save your way to that if you want to live that life. But most of the people on this call have come here to give themselves a different life. So you're not going to save your way to that. You got to invest it. And are you going to make every right financial decision? Nope. So what? It is what it is. It's like, you ever lost a hand of blackjack? You ever I lost $1,000 on a hockey game last night, right? Who cares? It's just money. I've had it. I've lost it. I've got some. I don't care about it. And that's the challenge. I think too many people are so worried about money. And really what I noticed when I lost everything in 2008 is I didn't really lose anything. I mean, I lost a house, but I had another one. I lost income. I lost the ability to blow money and be stupid. Tino, my youngest son, said to me the other night, it blew my mind, Brent. He said, "Dad, when can we go back to that place we used to go eat?" And I'm like, "We've been to a million places to eat." I'm like, what are you talking about, T? He's like, "Remember that place we used to go and you would put the stuff in the bowl and then you give it to the person and they cook it up behind the counter." I'm like, "The buffet?" He's like, "Yeah, the buffet." I was like, never. Why? He's like, "That place was good." I was like, "Dude, we went there because we were broke. It was like $5 a kid and $10 an adult. I could feed the whole family for like $30. No. He's like, "I love that place." And I'm thinking, I was like, my head was down walking in that place because I felt like a failure back then. Meanwhile, my 4-year-old was thinking it was the best thing since sliced bread. That puts some stuff in perspective. We have it good here no matter what. If you have a roof over your head, put food on the table, and you have a car, you're wealthy.
Yep.
Legit, in the country, in the whole world, you're considered to be wealthy. So stop acting so pretentious and be appreciative for what you have. And then maybe you'll get more. It's just the people that want more and want more and want more. Those are the ones that tend to get kicked in the face. That's what happened to me in 2008. Mistakes matter less when you have a true purpose. I like this one because I think if you're striving for something so big enough, again, the little things that go wrong won't affect you because the goal is so big. It doesn't even matter. Like, you have kids. I have kids. If one of our kids was sick and we had to raise, I don't know, $1 million, and we knocked on the door and they said no. I had 45 days to do it. We knocked on 100 doors. They all said no. We knocked on 2. They said yes. We even got arrested a couple of times for harassment and stuff. Like, none of that would matter because the goal would be to get to 100 grand, right?
Yep.
Win, lose, like that's the goal. Nothing else matters. And that's kind of like in this business, when your goal is to serve people, or when whatever it is that you're doing this for, your why, your greater good, your purpose, if it's that big, nothing matters except for getting there. And I think a lot of people need to dig a little deeper and try and really figure out what they're doing this for, because it'll make them work a lot harder, and they'll have a better mindset, and they'll be less emotional. They'll be less tired. They'll be less cranky. They'll be less scared or timid. It's just, it makes it a lot easier when you really have something that you're striving for. There's no place for emotion in this business, obviously. I mean, that was my biggest one. I was an emotional roller coaster. I yelled, I screamed, I was a hothead. And it's just, people don't like that. It makes them real uncomfortable. That's what I realized is they're a little bit intimidated to be around you because they don't know what they're going to get. And that's not good for business. I mean, if it's good if you're like, maybe, I don't know, a boxer or MMA fighter, because people like that when a press conference is going on, they don't know what you're going to say, but in business, they want somebody that's just easy, even keel, and that's going to tell them what they need to know and has their back. That's it. Can you imagine if when COVID hit in 2020, if Sean would have freaked out and said, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" He was like, "Dude, it's a cold. Go back to work." Like, that was the call he had. I called him. I was like, "Bro, what are you going to do?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, like this COVID thing. He's like, "Dude, it's a cold. Go back to work. Have some respect for yourself." Click. You know what I mean? It's like, but then I was like, okay, no big deal. And I wasn't even asking for me. I'm asking because people are asking me. And then I call him and he's like, he puts it in like, yeah, it's no big deal. Now, is it a big deal? Yes, people are dying. I got all that stuff. But we're deemed essential personnel. We had to go to work. People need what we have. And we can't run with fear. We just got to act as if we know where we're going. Act as if. All right, I know the last one. But I don't want to jump the gun. Let me make sure.
Now I know why you were cutting your video off, so you could see it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's the last two. When it becomes about other people's success more than yours, your team will explode. Yep. That is a fact. When it becomes about your clients more than it becomes about your feelings, you'll make more sales. Mm-hmm. When it becomes about your clients more than it's about your bank account, you'll make more sales. Same thing with agents. When it comes to the agents, more than your bank account, you'll hire more people, they'll stay. And when you give them things you don't have to give them, dude, that's what it's all about. Like, and what do I mean by that? No, I'm not building somebody a team. No, I'm not going, here's $50,000 or $50,000. Just take it. Go spend it however you want. I'm not giving them a loan. I'm just giving them my time. I'm giving them truthful answers, whether they want to hear it or not. But my tone's different. Like, I'm not going, Brent, you're an idiot. You need to get a social media person. I'm going, Brent, hey, look at Andrew. Like, look at his social media stuff. Wouldn't you want to be like that? I mean, I'm trying. Like, dude, if you want to get anywhere, you got to do this. Like, the person you have sucks. Like, I'm sorry, but I had to fire my guy. It sucks, but you got to. But it's a different conversation. But when you make it about them, then they're more loyal to you. They'll work harder. They'll perform better. It's just when they're in an environment where they feel safe and like somebody has their back, then everything is going to work out better. The other thing is, if you hit Hall of Fame numbers, you can easily do that. Meaning it's easy for me to make an agent happy when I'm not worried about what they do on a monthly basis to pay my bills.
There you go.
And that's the absolute greatest feeling in the world, is to not need agents to pay your bills, but you need agents because you want them to win.
Yep.
And that's two very different things. And that's like, I said that back in the day on a call, like a long time ago. I was like, yeah, I want y'all to understand something. I don't need you. What I was trying to say was, I want y'all to understand something. I don't need you to pay my bills. I'm doing that. Like, I write enough insurance to cover everything. So what I'm telling y'all is for your own good. It's not for mine. But for some crazy reason, you think I'm trying to get you to make me money. I could care less about the money. And that's tough to do when you're not doing Hall of Fame numbers, when you're not helping 25, or when you're only helping 15 families a month or 20 families a month. So just go out and take care of your business, and then you can take care of them very easily. The telesales, I want to hit on telesales too, because like there's a lot of folks going, I'm going to do telesales. Right. Okay, fair enough. Here's how I would do that. Okay. And you can listen to this. You don't have to listen to it. But if I wanted to transition from the field to telesales, I would 100% do this. My goal's 10 families a week, come hell or high water. If my schedule, the FFL weeks run Thursday to Wednesday?
Thursday to Wednesday, yep.
So I'm running like a bat out of hell. Thursday, Friday, Sunday, whatever, Tuesday. I'm running as fast as I can so that hopefully I have Tuesday and Wednesday that I've already hit my goal. Then I can spend one of those days doing telesales.
Yep.
But I have got to hit my goal before I even entertain that. Because if you stop feeding your business because you want to change it, now, if you've got a ton of money in the bank and you're not worried about, and you don't care about money, and you see your bank account dwindling and it's not going to affect your mindset, have at it, bro. Have at it. But I can promise you very few people are like that. They all need to see the bank account either stay where it's at or keep rising. So just make it easy on yourself. Then you won't be in your own head. That you can help people.
It's funny you say that, because we've got a lot of people within the group, Frank, that's pretty close to exactly what they did. They wanted to kind of try some other things out, and they decided to dial on Thursday as normal and run the weekend and pack out a weekend, with their mailers, all their mailers, whether it's final expense, whether it's mortgage, right? And then they're dialing on Monday, they're dialing internet leads to book appointments for Tuesday on internet leads. And then Wednesday is exactly what you said. That's their day they're focused on. So now they know, as they're trying to get used to working, whether it's internet leads or on the phone, they've still got that power weekend where they've got bunch of sales out there.
That's right. Well, that's good, because a lot of folks don't do that. And it's awful to see. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. The best example I can give is like, bro, if you were walking through a minefield that was a mile long and you made it, I would absolutely follow in every single footstep you made. Without fail. Like, I'm not taking one step off. Why in the world would anybody just change the way people do it? Like, it's ego. It's the most expensive thing you can own. What is the point? Like, get to here faster. It feels good. Then you can help more people. Yep. All right, number 10, and then I'll answer any sales questions you have. My business absolutely changed when I started giving, even when I didn't have it. It came back tenfold. 100%. You go, well, what does that have to do with business? I don't know. That's what I was wondering too. But I started giving, and our business took off like crazy, and I kept giving, and then it kept taking off, and I'm going, this is nuts. I kept giving more, and it kept growing more. It was like our account went from here to here in like 6 months, and it's never done that. Like, it was nuts. And I'm not qualified to preach to nobody. I'm all sorts of messed up, but the Bible says you can test me on that. And I said, all right, I ain't mad at you. I'll test you. And I did. And he definitely delivered. So, I mean, you call it karma, whatever you want. I just think it does something for your soul when you give something away that you don't necessarily have. To me, it's just, it perspective is everything in life. You tend to appreciate more when you don't have it. You tend to appreciate more when you work for it. You really appreciate it when you give it away, and you even appreciate it more. You appreciate it more. You appreciate life more. You don't sweat the small stuff more when you see somebody else struggling and you were able to help them, and you still survived even though you didn't have an abundant amount. Does that make sense?
Dude, it makes 100% sense. And I look back and just translating into this business. I mean, dude, you know as well as I do, that's how we built the business. That's how Sean has built the business, right? 100%. So just like you said, you know, walking through the minefield and stepping right where you stepped on the way through, right? Why would we argue with that? Like, why would we not just step in the same footsteps? Because he's always giving back to, whether it's in the form of, you know, manager bonuses, VP bonuses, give him, you know, whatever it might be, time. But it's the same deal, man. It always comes back, and it's just doing right by people, you know, and everything else comes back around in the end. So
that's right.
Real quick, because I know you got a plane to catch and everything. Any one or two top like things that you've seen? Because I know you were always really, really good in the field and always sold big premiums and helped a lot of families out. And one or two tips maybe that you could give them, like in-home type stuff that maybe you did or said, or how you set something up or whatever that that might be able to help somebody in the home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the biggest things that newer agents make, or even agents that have been here a while that tend to struggle, is y'all don't ask enough questions, or you talk too much. Like, I could talk for hours. I mean, you know that. And so could you, and so could a lot of the other guys that do this. But if y'all rode with me on an appointment and sat there and listened, you would be shocked, because I don't say a whole lot. I ask a bunch of questions, and I mean, I have them all lined up.
Right.
I ask a question, I shut up, I listen. And it's crazy. The less you talk, the more they do, and the more they give you. So it's like, it's easier that way. Instead of trying to sell somebody something, why don't you just ask them good questions, find a problem, and then give them a solution, right? It's just that easy. Now, I love doing like the cashback stuff with them paying off the mortgage.
Right.
That to me just added more bonus, more value to where, okay, this was your problem. I gave you a solution. It fits in your budget, and it does this. So,
you just hit mute. Yeah, there you go.
So every time your phone rings, it makes Zoom go crazy.
Okay.
So if I give more value, then they're not going to say no to me. And I seem really interested in what they're saying, because I'm not talking the whole time, and I have a smile on my face. So learn to ask really good questions, and that awkward silence sometimes is the best thing ever. It's the most uncomfortable thing ever when you first start doing it, but the longer you do it, it's the funniest thing ever, because you just know how uncomfortable they are sitting there. And I got good at it to the point where I had to like put my head down and act like I was sending emails, because I would be giggling, right? Because I know they're like just sitting there like freaking out, you know, and the first person that speaks loses. And some of them know that, but I'll sit there. I've sat in stone cold silence for 10 minutes, which feels like an hour and a half, by the way. And I just like, and I won't even say, and then they'll say like, well, what are you doing? And they still spoke first. I'm like, I'm waiting for y'all to make you. I'm good, dude. I get some emails I sent. I just sit there. So learn to be okay with silence, learn to ask questions. And then again, treat everybody like it's your family, like for real, like it's your family. You will not walk out of that house without doing anything possible to help that family. Mm-hmm. And you go, why do that? Nah, I beg to differ. I really beg to differ, because you pushing your family looks a lot different than you pushing a stranger, which is fine because they're a stranger. But when your heart's in the right place, you can say just about anything you want to anybody you want, and you're going to be okay, because they know you're not pushing them to take advantage of them. Like, I'm not pushing a guy that's got $5 million in insurance that makes $100,000 a year and his house is paid off, I'm not pushing that guy to buy insurance. I'm pushing a guy that has 2 kids, his wife stays home, he's got a mortgage and doesn't have any life insurance. I have no problem saying anything to that guy, including, the biggest reason women get remarried is because they need financial stability. So if you die, you want her sleeping with another guy to pay her bills. I have no problem saying that because I'm trying to get him to realize, like, you're being an idiot. With all due respect, she's upset, she's nervous, she's worried. You could end all that for a small amount of money a month. Stop being a jackbo. But you got to be direct, and you have to be okay with that. And sometimes you have to be okay with getting thrown out of the house.
Yep.
It is what it is.
It's that sales line. It's like you never know how far you can go until you do cross.
You go there. That's right. You'd be surprised. That's right. And that's funny. Like the folks that are most intimidated to do that, you'd be surprised how far you can go.
Oh, yeah.
Like there are many houses I was like, dang, I can't believe they didn't throw me out. And they wind up signing an application.
But they knew that you were pushing them because you cared, not because you needed the money or because you wanted to walk out with a sale. It was because you cared about helping them.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
And the only way to really cure that, Brent, is to have no less than 30 appointments a week. If you do that every week, it doesn't really matter because nobody's going to, if you run 10, that's a problem. Even if you run 20, that could be a problem. If you run 30, 40, there's 0% chance because you really don't care what they do because you have so many swings at the plate. Like if you got 10 strikes in baseball, that'd be great, right? I mean, your batting average would have probably been like 700.
Yeah.
But you get 3. That's a problem. You go down 2-0, you're like, crap. Yeah. Same thing in the field. Like it all works the same way. Why do we complicate this stuff?
We overcomplicate it. We overthink it. And
yeah, we do.
Dude, I could talk to you all day. And like I said, I know you've got a flight, but I appreciate not only you taking the time, but I always, when I hear you talk and train and teach, I just appreciate the rawness of it, the transparency of it, and the realness of it. Because that's who we are, right? It's like, be yourself, be transparent with these people. Like I'm listening to you talk and I'm thinking to myself, how many of the agents out there that are listening to this are not being this transparent with people inside the home as well? Right? The more transparent you can be, the better your results are. Like, don't try and be somebody else. Be yourself, right? And be open.
My gosh, I was just going to say that. 100%. 100%.
Dude, this has been awesome. I've enjoyed spending a little time with you today. And let me know if there's anything I can ever do to help the group. And make sure you tell Jamie, myself, and Allison said hello. And we'll look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Okay, bud?
You do the same. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you guys. Make it happen.
All right, buddy. Safe travels.
All right. See you.
Bye.